economy that we are working in. It's a global economy, open economy, and the external factors also that do affect our performance in the, unless until we have taken those factors to account also, I hope the COD is going to be erratic. That is where the things start getting wrong on the side of entrepreneur and the bankers, because the Reserve Bank of India's norms are very clear. So once we have to go for COD shifting, the restructuring and the restructuring provisioning, and everything follows thereafter. I hope to keep the accounts standard, to keep your activity profitable, professionally. Our friends CAs, they are the best friends of our entrepreneurs. They can guide them on time to time. And rating, as Bansalji was saying, rating is very important. Rating, you yourself can find out where you stand. Bankers are prepared, they are very transparent, they can share their internal rating to you, and then there you can find out where the factors, which are the factors which are pulling your rating down. And then you can take the help of our friends chartered accountants and see that how it can be improved. And debt equity ratio and your current ratio, when it goes beyond the permissible limits, there also we look forward that the bankers should deviate from the normal permissible limits, and then ultimately it affects the activity of the project of the company, and whatever deviation you can get sanctioned from the banker, but ultimately it is going to affect your efficiency and capabilities. So I am of this opinion, Mukeshji, that the rating does affect the people so far as concessions or low rate of interest or more economy, more funds. Everything is open with the banks, but then they have to help us to help them out.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. And you touched a very important subject, sir, COD. In my opinion, sir, ALM is the issue, in fact, for the COD. What happens normally, I would definitely require your call on this issue. Asset liability management is the biggest problem we are facing as of today. See what happens normally, this is a normal practice in the banking industry that project total repayment period has to be within 7 to 8 years, maximum 9 years, not more than that. Gestation period is maximum 2 years, 1 to 2 years. In many infrastructure projects that structure is not possible at all. But still we are working on the same pattern because of our ALM issue. Recently the Honorable Finance Minister has talked about on this issue when he told that that bond market is not developing in India and bankers are even funding the working capital. So how can we tackle this issue of ALM, sir? Because COD, what happens, even knowingly that the gestation period will be 4 years. See, normally what happens, in fact, bankers will say no, gestation period will be maximum of 2 years. Repayment period cannot be less than 15 years for many infrastructure projects, but still the total repayment period is fixed up within 7 to 8 years. So that is, I suppose, is a big problem for shifting of COD in many infrastructure projects particularly, sir. So what is your opinion, sir, on this?
This is a very relevant point what Mr. Singh touched and you are discussing. And friends, when you tailor a project for maybe hospital or a hotel, I've seen in the bank that all these projects you presume that it will take 2 years to 3 years to complete the project, but the level of uncertainty in implementation construction may take longer time, pending approvals, pending clearances, pending many things, and in the process the gestation period, which is framed as 2 years to 3 years, gets very fast over, and the repayment starts, and even the COD doesn't get complete. The RBI has very clearly said that COD, if you shift, account will be downgraded to the substandard, and the account becomes NPA before it starts even the production cycle. The best thing is that when you conceive a project or you prepare the CMA data and the cash flows, you have a very threadbare discussion with the promoter and do the realistic thing. Even if you have to have a longer gestation or a moratorium, do that. But because you will be helping the customer, and try to convince your lender, your bank, and and maybe they will agree to this, because the longer gestation, maybe in the road projects, into the power projects are required. Inherently it is, otherwise the account will become NPA before it is 3 years to 4 years. You just can't do that. And ensure that the availability of the resources, including the capital, is available. The most difficult thing in the bank, Mukeshji, I've seen is in the induction of capital.
100% agree with you, sir.
The quality of capital which promoter promises doesn't come, and whether it is a borrowed capital or it is part of the associate concern. You were saying that while you evaluate the statement of account, see that the turnover comes from where. And in case the turnover is coming from the associate concern and the turnover is not genuine, is just artificial or inflated, that means the people in the haste to, or I should not be saying that, in the greed to expand without the matching collateral capital, the damage is done that point of time. The existing concern from where the capital or the funds are brought down, that account suffers, plus the new account in which this capital is coming. And these are very, very sensitive issues, and maybe bank will be kept in dark. Bank may not be having that kind of monitoring surveillance system. We depend on the CA, chartered accountant. Every now and then we say, CA certificate you give and we'll be satisfied. But who goes to verify? Bank doesn't have the expertise today in the manpower, or the manpower available are not that good who can go and verify the physical progress of the project and can correlate the financial progress. We depend on the lender engineer, we depend on the chartered accountant who will give the cost of funds, and the resources raised, and the progress of the project. But fact remains that COD has to be calculated in a manner that you give a room, maybe you give a room of 6 months extra at that time. It will help.
That's what I wanted to supplement you, Bansal sir. Certainly, when we are talking about COD, Mukeshji pointed out, yes, when there is gestation, genuine gestation period requires 3 years, when genuine repayment period requires 15 years, and then in the urge of, or in the hurry to get your project financed, we agree to what bankers normally say, and there lies the problem. Not necessarily what bankers say we should accept, rather we should stick to our conditions. If you know that your project envisages the initial moratorium period of a particular period, and then without which the economics doesn't fit into the system, I hope you should not accept that. You can always guide the people. Here is the problem. When I say role of CA, I say you have to, because you are the consultant. Customer comes to you as a consultant. So as a consultant, you had to tell the person, yes, which project you have to select and how to prepare the project. These two things, I hope that is your very, very force that you can guide the people. And in a hurry to start the venture, sometimes we cut short the formalities. There, I hope that we always cultivate the things which are going to put problem for all of us.
And never agree to the promoter the idea of inflating the prices of the assets that they are going to acquire, and then try to adjust the margin into it. Is very suicidal. The 100% financing from the bank.
You have to be honest to your project.
But sir, taking to something different, I'll say you talked about 100%. So in a lighter mood, sometime we say that there was a concept of debt equity earlier. Now it's a debt concept is there, I suppose. So we as a chartered accountants will be helping our clients and the bankers and the Indian economy, everybody, if we take care of all those things which Mr. Bansal and Mr. Singh have advised us. Sir, as far as the promoter's margin is concerned, I suppose as a chartered accountant, what we can do. See, every banker wants a net worth statement of the promoters and guarantors of the company which is in need of the financial facility. So friends, when the net worth statement is before you, you can just ask that where is the funds, which are the FDs in fact, which are the saving accounts, which are the other investments from where you will borrow the money, you will withdraw the money, rather not borrow, you will withdraw the money and will put into that new venture or that expansion project in fact.
Okay, let me give you one small live example in this regard, what
Sir,
you told right
sir.
now. In one of the projects which I received for my sanction,
Sir.
it was somewhere about 150 crores worth project, and their margin was to the tune of about 23 crores that they were to bring in the project. And then in the proposal it was written that it will be brought borrowing funds from friends and relatives. I fail to understand when you have to bring 23 crores as your margin in the project, can it be just like borrowing from friends and relatives? So my friend, chartered accountant there, I just put a question to him, that why don't you specify these resources from where he is going to bring 23 crores? It's not a small amount, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh that he can borrow.
Who is
from
going to
somewhere.
give?
Who
And
is
that-
going to give you 23 crores?
And maybe that may be also maybe without interest free.
Yeah, then he would say that it is in form of unsecured loan and without interest. So these are the grey areas where we certainly, we as a whole, or every person concerned with the project, we have to come out honestly whether we are really financing the project, whether we are really interested in bringing the project honestly, so that it helps and it helps everybody.
I suppose some facts are very well known to us, sir. There have been some funding on the based on the promoter's name. Actually, the equity is not brought in. It's true, sir. So responsibilities are on every part, both chartered accountants as well as the bankers. But yes, as a chartered accountant, but my question of ALM is, I suppose, still remain as it is, sir. If we go to the bank, where is the funds for 15 years with any bank, in fact? Because you don't have the funds for 15 years, sir.
Correct.
So from where you will fund a project with a total repayment period of say 10 years to 15 years?
15-year project are in case of either infrastructure,
Yes, sir.
or very like cash and water.
Infrastructure,
Projects,
road, sir,
In
road.
those cases, there is takeout facility available. No?
But sir, takeout facility
People
has
cannot
not.
go for 15 years agreed.
But that takeout funding has not been very popular in our country.
In
It
case
is?
of infrastructure,
Huh.
highway infrastructure projects,
Huh.
it's very well known to the people. We go for
नहीं सिंह
take-
साहब अभी what the guidelines which have come in the takeout financing, IFCL is only the agency which is to do. They say that it should be a well conducted account. It should be no overdue, no.
Naturally,
When the project has run very comfortable in the parent bank,
Yeah.
why he would like to leave the asset which is a good conduct?
No, sir,
rather than-
yeah, sure. I'm talking about Mr. Mukesh, what he wants to point out, that the normal asset liability management in the banks, the bank do not have that 15 years, 20 years liability there or asset they won't like to take.
Sir.
In that case, in healthy accounts, after 5 years, it is a pre-designed project. Just after 10 years, it will be handed over to so and so person. After 7 years, handed over to so and so person. It's a well-designed, well-formatted structure. There's not that it's something that I want to shed this account or I want to get rid of this. Not with that
No,
intention.
at the time of sanction, if somebody comes with a presumption or with the assumption that after 5 years in the takeout financing, this account will go away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen that point of time. That means the account becomes NPA at that point of time.
But this is pre-decided. Somebody has to take. It's like 4 into 100 relay race. The 4 players are decided earlier. After running 100 meters, the other will take on the baton and run further 100 meters, and then third and then fourth. So this takeout facility is like that. It's not that one has hurt and he has retired hurt and only then somebody will come further. It's well designed and it's a.
But it's working well, sir, you are saying.
It has to.
Huh? I also have some different, maybe I'll not be, I may not
It
be.
is like this, but in real thing, it is not there. It is
Because what happens,
yet to
sir,
take place.
if some account is good, I suppose bankers will not be ready to transfer it to some other.
Just to speaking from point of view, your assets liability. If some banker is not prepared to take the assets for another 10 years, so for that he has to have matching liability also. So I'm purely from ALM point of view. I'm not talking about any other aspect of whether it's viable or not viable. I'm simply talking from ALM. There is a way out for that ALM. Not necessarily the bank has to take this liability or asset for 15 years. For that only restricted for that discussion only.
Sir. So, friends, we were discussing, what are the other due diligence? I suppose I'll touch upon those issues, sir. What are the other due diligence we as a chartered accountants can do while taking any assignment for project financing and submitting and recommending any proposal to the banks, in fact. So first I discussed the verification of documents from various source like income tax sites, ROC sites, verification of bank statement. After verification of the documents, I suppose it is our duty to visit the business and residential place of the corporate. That will be very helpful. Sir, what we have seen that because in a manufacturing company, suppose some companies are showing a turnover which are not actual turnover, in fact, we can definitely go and see the status of manufacturing facilities available at the site of the company. And friends, I'll share with you one very important thing, that you should check the electricity bill of the company, because the unit consumption have to be in line with the production being reported by the company, number of staff labor employed by the company, and how many labor and staff have been reported to various departments for deduction of PF and ESI and all other things. That will be very important. Electricity bill, telephone bill, these things will be should be verified by the chartered accountants while going at the site. Ownership or tenancy right should also be verified by the chartered accountants while visiting at the site of the company. One very important thing, sir, I'd like to add that we chartered accountants should do, I suppose the bankers will also be doing, I'd just like to know from you also, sir, we should do some interaction with the concerned parties. Concerned parties, I would like to say that we have seen in some cases that bankers are complaining that they have got 2-3 balance sheet, different balance sheet at ROC, different balance sheet at income tax, different balance sheet at with the bankers, in fact. So as a chartered accountant, I don't know, sir, you as a banker do this exercise or not, but I will suggest my CA friend that you should definitely phone up to your CA friend, auditor of the company, can verify from them that whether you have signed this balance sheet or not. You can discuss with the present bankers also what is the conduct of the account with them, in fact, if it is a takeover or some induction of the new member as a consortium member. One very important point Mr. Bansal has touched upon about the margin of the promoters and not doing 100% funding. What we advise to our CA friends that sir, majorly it happens in case of plant and machinery, sir, because land cost is well defined. It's as per the sale deed registry. Building estimate is also very well known to bankers also. What is the normal cost of the building? I suppose the major issue is in cost of the plant and machinery. I normally say one thing, sir, in a very lighter way. Suppose anybody comes to you and he tells you that I want to buy a Mercedes car, and the cost of the car is say 50 lakhs rupees. You sanction say 40 lakhs rupees for purchase of that car, 10 lakh rupees as the promoter's margin. He goes to the branch and tells to the branch, see, this loan of 40 lakh has been sanctioned to me for purchase of a car. Doesn't give the name, in fact, Mercedes, and gives a bill of Maruti 800 or Alto, mentioning the cost of that car as 50 lakh rupees, and the branch unknowingly disburse him 40 lakh rupees. I suppose that happens. I have seen, sir, this happening. Not this was an extreme example, but I have seen in case of plant and machinery, because there are different suppliers of different plant and for the same plant and machinery. Some may be very reputed, some may be local suppliers, in fact, and the cost and the quality will be, there will be a lot of difference, in fact, in the cost and the quality. So we as a chartered accountants, I'll advise to go to that extent, even to visit the plant suppliers office, workshop, their website. We can ask from the company that you do one thing, you take a list of the clients of the plant supplier. Sir, we have done some due diligence, in fact, in some of the cases. We have gone to that extent that we have asked the plant supplier, you give us some of the old bills, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months old, and give us the list of the clients to whom you have supplied those machines, in fact. What was the cost there, and then to that extent that we have phoned up to those companies, in fact, and to confirm from them that whether they have purchased these machines from this supplier, what was the cost of the machine, and whether the machines are working properly or not. So I suppose this is also one thing which will answer your question, Bansal Saab, ki the margin of the promoter has to be ensured in fact.
This is very important, that frauds that we wanted to discuss with you.
Sir.
Nowadays the frauds are coming up in banking sector, and it's over a period of time that when we go for further restructuring, or when we go for further into relationship with the customer, that we find that the basic documents submitted to the bank, they turn out to be fraudulent. So I would respect to my chartered accountant friends that whenever some the project is introduced to you for onward submission to bank, kindly do your due diligence, which includes your verification document that is submitting, KYC norms which are looked into as per RBI norms, and thereafter, as Mukesh was just referring to, that if need be, we should go to supplier's side also, who is going to supply. Of course, as the bankers, we need that the supplier's status has to be obtained by the branch or bank, whenever it has to be sanctioned. But then in that case, we have come across so many frauds in banks, where we find that the supplier doesn't exist at all, or wherever the machine is given to be supplied by one particular person, he doesn't deal in that particular machinery itself. So initially, when the project is such that you are going to deal with, you should see that whether the supplier side or the market, whether it is properly addressed and there is no fraudulent activity involved into it. Apart from, of course, title deeds, which is not part of yours, of course. But then these are the areas where you can certainly go for. And another point that what I'd like to point out here is discuss with my friend CS, that once this with the company, we were talking about the ALM of the banks. Let us talk about the ALM of the company itself. The companies which are going for day-to-day expenditure in their factory or industry, normally we see that the short-term funds they use for long-term funds. Okay, this is a very serious, and normally it puts bankers in a very tight position to neither we can deny any further finances to the customer, nor we are able to digest it also, because we know that they have used short-term funds for the long-term. And during the year, there would be certain construction part or something, expansion, small machinery, other things which they are taking to account and using their short-term funds. There I hope our friends can certainly take care. If they are resorting to this type of diversion of funds from short-term to long-term, they can very well approach the banks. Here is the need that they want to go for this smaller renovations or addition of plant machinery or balancing equipment, so that they can get the demand note separately, not disturbing their working capital. At the most, if at all they have not been able to do that, in the next review, you should see that whatever working capital funds they have used for long-term funds, they can decide the quantum, and in the next review that can be sanctioned in the form of your separate demand loan or corporate loan, so that your repayment, your working capital funds are restored to the original capacity. I hope if that is taken care of, ALM in the company as well as the bank which we are talking about should be taken care. Another point, Mukesh, with your permission.
Yes, sir, please, sir. No, it's very important, sir.
I will talk about.
We are delighted, sir.
Yeah, this project, these new projects which our friends, they are taking, they're taking the help of our chartered accountants for further implementation of the project. Their critical path method has to be adopted. Critical path method, I mean that once the project is to be installed, we know the activities to be undertaken till the installation of the project, commercialization of the project, operationalization of the project. Till then, we should list out the activities, and the activities which can be started initially, simultaneously, we should take all those activities simultaneously, so that we can save our time of implementation of the project. Not that once activity is completed, only then we can take the next activity. So I hope this way also we can complete, it will help completing our project within the allotted time. I hope this is what I wanted to share with my friends so that they can take care of this thing when the implementation part is going on.
Well, just add what you said, a very relevant point you mentioned is whenever there is a need to expand, what normally the customers do is that they will not approach the bank for funding of the term loan, and they will divert the working capital because that suits them. They will immediately issue check in the name of supplier, buy the machine, and in the process they start feeling the pinch in the working capital, and this really hurts them. Friends, at a time what will happen is that your working capital funds will vanish. You will find the shortage, and you will go to the supplier credit, and maybe that your the current assets, your book debt also will be not there. Virtually, I think Mr. Mukesh Gupta will agree with me. The first thing to appear in the stress situation is the current asset. The book debts, they are diverted not through the account, through some other account, and when we say that, because the CVC has said any diversion of fund is a fraud. It is a financial fraud, and the case may be referred to the investigative agency, and the instances have come, the account has become NPA on account of this. You say, the promoter says that no, funds are there in the company itself. It has not gone out of the company, but it has gone out of the short-term loan, short-term users to the long-term, and the customer start feeling the crisis of working capital account, start showing the sign of sickness, the working capital cycle gets affected, and the account shows default, overdues, irregularities, sickness, and this is something which is, bank have come out with the very simple process of approaching for a general purpose term loan. Many banks, in fact I was in Indian Overseas Bank, and I've seen that the bank has come out with a product, corporate loan, or they have said up to 50 lakh or up to 1 crore, up to 2 crores, they can go approach, but then the promoter has to be open with the bank, and maybe branch people are not equipped to handle such urgent request of the customer to help them. But that should be the spirit, and the customer, instead of going for the diversion, should go genuinely for acquiring assets. He should have the proportionate margin in the system to buy the assets. That should be the proper way of doing it, and the chartered accountant friends must counsel and educate the customers to use this way in the credit counseling manner, and they should definitely use the money for the purpose for which they had borrowed. It will help in a long term to the customers to run their enterprise.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Sir, can we take some questions? In fact, we got a lot of questions. So can we take some questions now, sir?
Sure.
So, Mr. Praveen Thanvi, his question is, what are the limitations looked in proposals of new entrants in SME industry? Sir, I would like to say something, then I'll request you to kindly give your comments. See, SME is a very important sector. In fact, they play a very important role in the growth of any economy. They are the largest employer in the country after the agriculture. Government has set a lot of norms for financing to SME sector. There are various schemes especially for SME sectors, like CGT SME is there. There are some capital subsidy scheme also there, CLCSS is there. So, my dear Praveen Thanviji, I'll say that banks are bound to lend to SME sector, but on the other hand, they have to see the quality of the asset also. So, if you'll say limitation looked in the proposal of new entrants, so I'll say banks have to see where is the margin and what is the experience of the person concerned, because he will not be having any past track record. Normally banks, what they do, in fact, based on some past track record, they decide whether to lend, what is the past track record of any particular promoter, any particular company, then they take based on the past track record also. But since you asked for the new entrants, So I'll say it has to be seen that what is the experience of the person concerned and what is the margin and funds available with him for putting up the project. Because if these two things will not be there, banks will be in trouble, but that gentleman who is putting his SME unit for the first time will also be in deep trouble, in fact. Sir, your...
No, availability of the raw material where he is going to put the unit is very important. Suppose somebody is putting a unit of the granite, it has to be near the source of the granite available to him. He can put the machinery, he can take a piece of land and he can install the machinery, and can, if the transportation cost of the raw material itself is very heavy, the unit will become non-viable. And then where is he going to sell? The selling arrangement and realization of sale. I've seen in my experience the SMEs are very much vulnerable to all these kind of things. They have fixed date of making payment of salary, wage bill, electricity bill, raw material, but it is very uncertain when they will realize the sale. In case they sell and they get the check post dated, and on the due date the customer will tell them don't put the check now. They are into problem as to what to do, because they have the electricity bill already paid with a check already coming to the bank. So his resources should be very well identified, defined, and he should be able to manage it, and he should have sufficient knowledge and expertise to run the enterprise in which he is entering into.
Singh Saab, I would like to add one thing, in fact, rather it will be a suggestion from my side to the bankers, in fact. See, one of the reason of SMEs becoming NPA is delayed payment by the PSUs, by the large corporates. As you rightly told, Bansal Saab, you have to see that whether they will get the payment on time. See, whatever terms may be there, sir, whatever large corporates or PSU might have, maybe a written agreement that they will make the payment in 90 days. In today's scenario, I suppose it's very difficult to get the payment within the due date period. So my request from the bankers through this platform will be, sir, we should give sufficient time. The normal trend of giving 90 days debtors, I suppose we should consider in this difficult time, particularly for the SME sector, we should fix up the limit based on the debtors period of maybe 6 months or so.
Okay, see, let me assure you and the CF fraternity and the entrepreneurs from banker side is, and nowadays it is not tailor-made, it is customer-made proposals. We know, we don't go by the beaten path of 90 days booklet which normally is done. We certainly discuss with the entrepreneur and try to know the operational cycle of the person. If it demands 120 days, we go for 120 days. If it demands 4 months or 6 months, we go accordingly. So I hope unless until you come out with your true operational cycle with the banker, it's very difficult for the banker to decide as to what would be the limits that we are going to consider for booklets. Another one thing I would like to point here, new entrants when that the reader is asked for. New entrant means we bankers, we go for encouraging the new entrepreneur, first generation business. We have been doing it and we do that.
Very good, sir.
We know that there is a lack of expertise on their part. They cannot come with experience. We know they are new people. Secondly, we know that they don't have, most of the people do not have that collateral security available with them also. Doesn't matter. What we see is, we see the commitment and the honesty on the part of the entrepreneur who is coming with a new project. How confident he is with the project. And if we can see that, then I hope we don't look at the collateral. We know the person will not have, if somebody is technocrat, he will not be having any collateral security. But then CGTMSE is there. We always go for CGTMSE without any hesitation. I hope new SME, we are there to help them.
So loan up to 100 lakhs can be covered under this CGT SME scheme. I suppose my CA friends will be
being increased to 200 lakhs.
Pardon, sir?
CGT MSME scheme, the amount which was up to 100 lakh is being increased to 200 lakh.
But it has not been done so far, no, sir?
I think Indian Overseas Bank, they were doing up to 200.
It's up to 1 crore only, sir. No, it's not on bank to bank, sir. It's a government scheme because the government gives the guarantee only for loan up to 100 crores. 100 lakhs, sorry.
there may be one clarification that 2 crore what you are talking about is project may be worth 2 crore,
Ah.
out of which 1 crore will be covered in CGD MSC, 1 crore will be out of CGD.
Maybe.
So that can be done.
Then that we can. Partly can be covered in CGD MSC.
Other question is from Supriya Paranchpai, and the question is, what is the minimum number of years of data to be submitted for new entities? It depends on whether the company wants to take the term loan or the working capital. If the company wants to avail some term loan, the data has to be given for the entire repayment period. If it is for the working capital only, 1 year or maximum 2 years will be sufficient. So, sir, do you agree with me? Sachin Mishra has asked that importance of project finance to CA in manufacturing industry. See, importance of chart accountants is everywhere, whether it's a manufacturing company, service industry, or retail. So, chart accountants are important in all the field. If you want to tell anything, I suppose we were just discussing what are the due diligence. In fact,
so all activities, manufacturing or trading or service, whatever.
So I'll say, Sachinji, you are important for any type of project financing consultancy to your client. CA Girija S. Pandey may be related to you, sir. How much we CA can rely on the rating of companies given by the rating agencies?
I think it is reliable, credible rating agency will give the rating agency. It is an opinion that is given by the rating agency in the various maybe AAA to D, which category it is, based on the data given by the company to the rating agency.
And how the rating is done, I suppose, because somebody collects from the rating agency all the data, required data, then the analysts are there, they analyze the reports, then it is put up to the to the committee, sir?
Internal committee and then external committee.
Okay.
And then they deliberate on that and then they give an opinion and then the rating is formed.
So on behalf of Bansal Saab, I can assure you that we can 100% rely on the rating given by the rating agencies of our country. Yeah. So, Mr. Yogesh Bansal has asked, I have observed number of instances where client with good rating and strong financials become highly irregular. Very interesting question.
No, not question. It is, he said that he has seen. Yes, I also agree.
Yeah.
That it is the rating and sometimes the good financials. Also, the customer's default maybe something.
There may be. I would like to add here that there may be some regions which are within the control of the promoters, and there may be some regions which may be beyond the control of the promoters also, due to the government policies, various approvals and all those things. Yeah. So there may be a different region. There can't be any one region for account becoming NPA or substandard. There may be different, like we were talking about the infrastructure project. If the approvals for acquisition of land is not there, if the power is not available, if the coal is not available, the account may become NPA. So external regions may be there. And then friends, yes, there may be some other regions also. So where the role of chartered accountants are very important, that we have to see that strong financials are really strong.
Yes, I will add one point here.
Sir.
This question is very interesting.
Yes, sir.
So, see, just read out that question.
I have observed number of instances where client with good rating and strong financials become highly irregular.
So, you just imagine this rating and the financials. These are on as on one particular day in the year.
Yes, sir.
As of 31st March, his rating was good. As of 35, financial was good. But now we are in December. If today is irregular account, something is ready, that means over 9 months, 10 months, something might have gone with the system.
Yes, sir.
There lies the role of chartered accountant to know.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, this rating and financial, which are as of 31st March, may not be handy to us to know the reasons.
Yeah.
Could be there are some internal reasons with the company, but there this role of CA comes. I hope that's what I wanted to add. You have to be careful.
Divya has asked how to check the correctness of projected figures given in a projected balance sheet. See, projected balance sheet, Divya, we the chartered accountants normally prepare the projected balance sheet. So it's up to chartered accountants to confirm from various data being given by the company. In fact, we have to ensure what is the, if it is a manufacturing company, we have to see what is the installed capacity of the company. It has to be based on the various machines in fact installed in the company. So first of all, I suppose that installed capacity has to be calculated correctly. Then capacity utilization has to be calculated. Based on the installed capacity and capacity utilization, actual raw material sales, depending on the price of the raw material, selling price, how many number of workers will be required, how many officers will be required, what is the power requirement, what are the power rates, different heads of cost of production and profitability have to be discussed with the client. You have to satisfy yourself that yes, all the rates, everything is correct, and then chartered accountants have to prepare the projected balance sheet based on the data available.
Shall I add?
Yes, sir, please, sir.
No, madam, this is cash to cash cycle and the inventory holding from the raw material that the customer brings to the finished goods, and at every level, how much is the raw material required, 15 days, 1 week, depending on the availability, and then how much is the process time, work in process, finished goods, and then the goods are sold, whether it is sold on 30 days credit or 60 days or 90 days. So inventory holding in certain industry is already established, but depending on paper industry, depending on steel industry, what is the cycle normally in the market, and how much is this particular industry doing. If it is a new industry, of course they can project depending on what is the cash to cash cycle and the capacity, as Gupta ji has said. But in case somebody is projecting which is beyond the acceptable norms, that means the party is trying to take more funds than required, then we have to check. As a chartered accountant, you can tell that this is the inventory holding. If the market trend is कि 30 दिन में पैसा आ जाता है बाजार से, तो वो 6 महीने 3 महीने का क्यों, why should we allow him 90 days book debt or 30 days book debt? If अगर कोई गोल्ड बेच रहा है तो कैश पे गोल्ड जा रहा है, then we should not allow him post sale limit. Pre sale limit is good enough for holding of the gold. Or petrol, if the petrol pump is there, everything is sold cash.
And the working process is also very important. How much time it will take from raw material to finished goods?
New accounts, I hope we should go by the industry norms.
Yeah.
And if it's existing, we should go by the past norms.
Past
experience. That's how we go for.
Very simple.
Yeah, very simple.
Supriya branch pe is the procedure more or less same for PSU banks and private banks?
Almost.
I'll say ki every bank is concerned about the repayment of their lending. So all due diligence, everything, I'll say almost same, because there is no private bank is at our panel, so will not be able to deliberate much on this issue. But yes, overall the procedure is almost same. The different banks, PSU banks and public sector banks, may be having different schemes for lending. That may be in fact because the private banks may be lending against loan against property and all those things, which mainly
schematic lending.
Yeah.
Schematic lending is different. Their role doesn't come. In case of housing loan or in case of loan against property. But then manufacturing, service, trading, all these the role comes, and there the fundamentals are well established and everybody knows.
Ramana Babu P, what are the key points to be checked for IT industry?
IT industry, what are the fundamental?
What are the key points to be checked for IT industry? IT industry, definitely it's a very different financing is and different capability is required for while funding for IT industry, because software, I suppose maybe that his point may be funding to software, and in case of hardware also, because the life is too short in case of hardware also for the IT industry. I suppose I would like to definitely have the opinion of the bank expert bankers in fact, but as far as I understand, bankers will be requiring a lot of collateral security in case of IT industry. Maybe
when we talk about IT sector, sector, there are not established norms for those, because every industry, every factory or every unit itself, they will be having their own different parameters to work on, depending on the number of projects that they are handling domestically or abroad. So in that case, our friends chartered account, they have to sit with these people, understand their requirement, and then thereafter, once they understand the entire phenomenon, they have to put in paper and then go to bankers and explain to them. In such cases, every project has to be explained to the banker.
Sir, we will understand, but how you as a banker will understand, sir, the ideal country, sir?
That's what I say.
Huh?
If you are able
But
to
I have an experience, sir. I have an experience. There was one company, a very recent example, sir. They got their limit assessed from one bank, and that bank has asked, in fact, ki, okay, we'll do it in consortium. This much share we will take. You induct some other bank. But many banks are saying no, because it's an IT industry. You give 100%.
Primary security is not tangible that way.
But sir, then how that IT will develop, in fact, in our country? IT is very important.
I agree, but these people know their industry as well. And not that the IT industry people, they do not understand this thing.
But we have to do something for this. See, like that cloud computing is there.
Policy matter. Maybe that the bank to bank the things are taken care of.
But I will again request you, sir. I suppose this
is Gupta ji, is a new area. Definitely a lot of grey area. I will say the banks yet to develop the expertise on this. More will be on the trust and the faith in the customer. And the vendor, who is the vendor? What is most important is to assess the genuineness of the order from the overseas the customer receives here, and then the order value, and what is to be seen is whether the customer to whom the chartered accountant is working for, whether he will be competent to execute the order in the given time. Very, very important, and whether the infrastructure available with him, and if he is able to complete this, that will be, because these are the milestone payments. If the order is for 3 years or 2 years, depending on how much work is completed in 90 days, in 120 days, the payment will be released based on that.
Also, that is true. In banks now, so far as studying the technical viability part is concerned, there is no dearth of our expertise in the banking nowadays.
Yes, sir.
There is called Technical and Industrial Consultancy Division, TICD. We do have, and we have our expert people or specialist people in the department. They can assess the technical viability of it. Economic viability also, there is no, you can find out how much orders are there, how much they can deliver. Only thing, hesitation on the part of bank, as Bansalji said and you also said, that the bank would like to have some collaterals, because this is totally, once we have to go back for realization of dues, then neither we can bank upon our hardware which is lying, or software. Software is a customer specific, where you are going to recover your funds, and they understand well. So it's up to the bank to take a call.
Okay. Subramaniam, Mr. Subramanian, how is the rating done for new entities? Sir, would you like to? I suppose there is no different. See, banks have their own this thing system, and there is questionnaire, required documents for a rating of any company. So, Mr. Bansal would like to add something on this for rating of the new entities.
No, they give their projected balance sheet to the rating agency. There is internal rating system on the management, on the existing setup. If somebody is entering into a business with no track record with him, maybe his rating will be not great.
So it's a green field. It's a green field.
I don't feel we can do any rating and like
this. So I suppose
we have to rate their performance.
Yes.
When there is no performance, so how we are going to
some
rate
green field
on the existing,
rating is,
no, somebody entering, he will prepare his balance sheet.
It's projected only.
No, he will have some capital with him.
Yeah.
That capital he will project, and the source of capital and the cost of project he will show, and the debt that he is going to raise he will show.
Otherwise,
then it will be.
Sir, we try to discuss with some rating agencies. Some rating agencies told that yes, we have some greenfield rating model, greenfield model is there, but many rating agencies are not rating it, because the rating doesn't come in an investable grade. Any new project, nobody will be able to get a triple B rating. So it will be.
It's all your past performance.
Yeah. So it will be difficult to get any investable rating for the new entities.
No, we will give some feedback to them through email after
I
consult the.
So Mr. Subramanian, Mr. Bansal has agreed that he will see to it, and some feedback will give on through your email or on the website of the institute. Mr. Harsh P. Shah, to what extent it is advisable to verify the genuineness of the transaction reflected in the bank statement? to what extent it is advisable. If you have to do, you can go to any extent in fact. As a chart accountant, if you have any doubt about the genuineness, so you can ask. I'll go to that extent that you can ask if you have a slight doubt about the genuineness of the bank statement. You can ask your client that sit on my computer in my office, log in with your password, will not see that login password, and then you take a printout of the bank statement online in our presence. So you can go to that extent also, and then then after that it's up to you. All the details will be there, how many checks are returned, the credit flow is coming. Well, see, one more thing I would like to add, what we have seen in some cases, if the credit submission are in thousands or lakhs or पूरा पैसा जैसे होता है ना, 5 लाख, 6 लाख, 6 lakh, 7 lakh, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, because anybody, suppose you are supplying any goods or services to anybody, he will make the payment as per the bill of the amount of the invoice. So normally invoices are not in पूरा रुपए round amount में नहीं होगा. So you have to verify that whether the payments are coming through RTGS only in the shape of round figures. Then you may have some doubt in fact. So it's up to you to what extent.
Because it is very easy, Gupta ji, to check. अगर आज उसने माल बेचा है ABC को, जो पेमेंट आएगा वो ABC से तो अकाउंट में आएगा, either through check or through RTGS or through transfer. This can be verified from the receivables. Book debt statement, because सबसे ज्यादा लोचा होता है book debt में, कि अगर वो book debt genuine है, invoice किया है, पैसा आया है उसी मोड से, that means it is very genuine, very easy. अगर पैसे ही नहीं आ रहा है,
he has to certify. Then if he has to certify, he has to satisfy himself.
Satisfy.
He can tell the people to satisfy him.
So I suppose we chartered accountants are competent enough to verify the bank statement. Ashish Kedia, Mr. Ashish Kedia, it has been seen bank personnel at grassroots levels are not educated as to how due diligence of financial is to be done. Most do not rely on the audit report, CARO report in detail, do not check ROC website, resulting in circulation of false multiple balance sheets, etc. There is general feeling that it is more about licensing than merit. I have seen reports of areas of due diligence which are domain of CAs are sought from company secretaries. No, I'll not agree much on this.
We do not subscribe to this thing.
No.
Now, of course, we have been very professional, and bankers, they have been people, they are making the skill development for the people, and then they are very professionals nowadays.
I will agree to some extent that the banks have expanding their branches network, and the new boys and girls who are joining the bank as a officer or as a clerk and who are handling the credit may not be very expert or may not be experienced, but
I suppose the regular training programs are also there in the banking industry, and there was no employment in banks in fact for many years, but now since banks have started, I suppose you are employing direct chartered accountants also into so come to the bank, dear friends, and join some banks, do the proper due diligence, and even if you are on the other side in fact at the as a consultant or as a CEO of the company, I suppose we the chartered accountants have to do proper due diligence, and we have to tell the bankers, sir, see, this is the proposal, we have done our due diligence, you can rely on us. So I suppose it will increase the credibility of the chartered accountants also.
See, nowadays most of the banks, they have adopted verticalizations. Mid corporate and large corporate, they have separate verticals are there, where full skilled people, expertise the people, they are sitting along with the professional CAs and financial analysts. They are taking care of the balance sheets and the ratios and other financial. So
and the banks are also using the services of the companies like Dun & Bradstreet result to get the due diligence.
That he is talking about.
So, but I suppose the last thing, I have seen reports of areas of due diligence which are domain of CAs are sought from CAs. I don't know in which context you are asking, and ultimately it's the authority of the bank from whom they want from CA or CS. So we cannot. Mr. Anil Kumar Gupta, what are the responsibilities of a CA in the capacity of an auditor? I know everybody is well aware. We have a lot of responsibility to all our stakeholders. In fact, whenever we do the auditing of any company, So our report is to all the stakeholders. In fact, we have to be very.
Gupta ji, auditors, because I think some amendment has come into the company law board that the short-term loan should be specified, the due date of the loan in the balance sheet, debt, short-term debts which are taken by the company, that should be specified. And if there is any loan, any default on the loan, that should be also written by the auditors in the auditor's report very clearly.
It is already there, sir, and we do a lot of deliberation.
I have not come across that the company CA, while signing the report, also mentioning that the company has defaulted on the payment of.
No, it's in the tax audit report. It is there, and we deliberate a lot of about this new Companies Act is there. So, but tax audit report, I suppose that has this condition, na, or any default has to be reported.
That doesn't come in the hand of the bank when it comes to financing. If the tax audit report.
Sir, yeah, but see what happens normally, sir. You take a chartered accountant certificate about the statutory dues. In fact, what is the status of statutory dues? And I have also told that as a due diligence, our chartered accountant friend need to ensure that all the dues are paid on time. They have to ensure before, because if the promoter is of habit of not paying even the statutory dues in time, how we can assure that he will repay the bank loan in time. So, and he has asked what are the responsibility of a CA in the capacity of an auditor, one, and two, a loan syndicating professional. See, in case of loan syndication professional, I don't know whether any chartered accountant sign any documents or not, but the moral responsibility is at a very high level. So morally you are definitely, because any one bad account may create a lot of problem for any chartered accountant friend. Sir?
I'll say he should.
This is unspoken thing that you are told.
No, Gupta ji, the classification of asset and liability, miscellaneous asset, long-term liabilities, all that should be very properly done. As he is doing in the audit report, he should do it in the loan syndication in the CMA data.
Because credibility is at stake.
Yes, sir.
I have seen
you are the market person.
a very reputed chartered accountant when it comes to the giving loan papers to the bank, the current assets and the miscellaneous asset also they show as a current asset to improve the current ratio.
Sir, but my request will be, sir,
very difficult, sir. Every transaction you can't study it is sundry creditor or it is a unsecured loan.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes the sundry creditors are shown as an unsecured loan.
We should help the companies to prepare balance sheet as near to the realities as possible.
No, when there are two roles. I think the chartered accountant who has put this question is very, very intelligent. He has a very definite role as an auditor. He has a similar role as a syndicator on the classification of the asset and the liabilities.
That's true. Credibility has.
Sir, my request will be on behalf of all the chartered accountant fraternity with the bankers will be that, see, any account can become NPA, sir.
Yes.
Nobody can give a guarantee. Sure, but what happens normally, sir, what I have seen, even if any one account goes NPA, I suppose you bankers blame all things on the chartered accountant, sir. You brought this proposal. It may be, sir, my request will be, my humble request will be on behalf of the all chartered accountants will be, you see whether the chartered accountant has done something wrong, whether he has submitted some false documents or not, or it has been because of some other external reasons, or suppose the intention of the company is good as on today, but because of certain factors after 5 years that account goes bad. I suppose the bankers say even after 5 years they will be doing all due diligence, everything, increment, everything was there, but they will say, okay, this chartered accountant brought this proposal, so yeah, they will blame that.
Take a plea on behalf of your fraternity, right spirit, and we'll do.
Sir, I can assure you, we chartered accountants.
One point out is,
sir,
such cases are looked with scrutiny only in case of quick mortality cases.
Yes, sir.
Once it is not quick mortality, normally we do not.
But even after 5, I'm saying, even after 5 years it goes bad, sir, you will definitely say, oh, acha, he brought this proposal, yeah.
After 5 years, normally the things are not in the hand of the entrepreneur himself. We do agree.
So that is my request, sir.
We do agree with that, no issue.
And my request to the chartered accountant's friend will be, we have to do utmost due diligence of all the cases. We need to assist the bankers also in while assisting our client also. Mr. Ajay Lunawat, what role does the projections play when actual financials start taking shape, especially where loan quality starts degrading?
I will give specific advice in this case. See, when we sanction some loans on the basis of provisional balance sheet, okay. Subsequently after 7 months, 8 months, you submit the audited balance sheet. And if there is a rating prescribed to that on the basis of your provisional balance sheet, and then subsequently your audited results are different from provisional, which are bound to be.
Yeah.
And in that case, if you come to bank and tell that these are my audited balance sheets, and the next year's actual would be on the basis of this actual balance sheet, not the provisional which they have already submitted. So if that is taken care of, therefore it's a duty of the either chartered accountant of that company or the company itself to come back to bank and get the estimated projections corrected. Otherwise, the same projection will continue in the next review also. If that be so, then of course the things will be not attributed to the customer for not achieving the estimates or deviating from the estimates. Rather, we will see that genuinely it has touched the estimates or projections with the actuals of that particular.
I would like to add here one thing, since we are discussing about the role of the chartered accountant. So dear friends, whenever you prepare projections for any company, in fact for taking assistance, so client may come to you, a corporate may come to you that I'll do the turnover of say 200 crore, and so I require a working capital of say 20 crore, 40 crore rupees. You have to be very analytical, in fact, in verifying that whether the company will be able to achieve that projections or not, because again I suppose based on the projections and actual rating of the company will depend. Rate of interest will also be refixed, in fact, based on the difference in the variation in the projected and the actual figures. So projections have to be prepared keeping in mind all the, and it has to be, I'd like to go to that extent that we have to prepare some conservative projections, in fact, while submitting any proposal to any bank. Sir?
Gupta ji, one more thing. In manufacturing units, if somebody projects a sale turnover of say 200 lakhs and the limit is assessed on the sale turnover of 200 lakhs, from day one he will not achieve 200 lakhs. The release of the limit by the bank should be in pro rata of the sale. Suppose first quarter he will achieve a sale of 50 lakhs, the release of limit should be related to the sale he is projecting, not that the entire limit should be released on day one, presuming that he will achieve sale of 200 lakhs. That should be monitoring mechanism in the bank, so that the money of the bank is also safe and the customer doesn't misutilize, because all customers are not understanding. They feel that this limit is available to them, they can do it. So maybe in temptation to take this money, put maybe divert somewhere else, or maybe temptation could be there once the funds are available. So from the customer point of view and from the bank point of view, there should be definite connect.
I'll say yes and no both for this thing, in fact, sir. See, it's true that he will not be requiring the entire working capital on day one, but if we put condition like this, sir, what happens normally, because if we put condition that based on the every quarterly turnover will release the 1/4 working capital, it will be very difficult for the company to give the exact turnover figure, in fact, as on the close of the quarter. Then maybe in many cases you will put a condition as a banker that after the end of one quarter he will seek the permission from the regional office or head office for release of the balance working capital. Then I suppose it will be very time consuming.
People should be equipped to handle such situations. Suppose the customer gets an order to execute in between. He needs working capital maybe more than the limit. That means the bank should be in a position to assess, yes, this is an order that he has to execute, he has to obtain the raw material, maybe whatever it is, and the adequate money can be given.
We are practical that way. Sometimes you know that after the project, when there is sanctioned term loan or working capital both, well, it's expected first term loan should be exhausted, thereafter only we should go for working capital. But in many of the cases when the projects are installed and in the process of installation, then there would be requirement for the procurement of your raw material in the process. So in that case, we do allow sanctioning of the release of the working capital pending installation of the term loan also. So it's all case to case. We see the things happening. If it is required, we do go beyond that, whatever is sanctioned. But then people have to justify their requirement.
Yeah, I agree. Banks are positive in that way, sir.
Positive direction, no issue.
Mr. S.K. Vasne, would you agree that the appraisal system and the post-sanction follow-up is based on primitive and paper-based rather than market intelligence and database? The appraising officer are ill-trained. This is the major reason for NPA. I suppose FM has also talked about this thing, but still I'll say that we have very experienced bankers and they are doing to the best possible, in fact. Mr. Sir, you'd like to? Mr. Atosh R. Surana, generally banks do not allow cost overruns funding. If the company do not take the proportionate funding of cost overruns, but subsequently down the line, say after 1 or 2 years, due to market situation or otherwise company faces tough time, whether there is possibility of bank funding it later as general purpose term loan or so. So there is always a provision of escalation and contingencies in the cost of the project. So you cannot expect any bank to go beyond that escalation contingency, but still I suppose banks will be doing.
That's what we say is that whenever you prepare the project, you should take the cushion for your cost overrun or other exigencies into the project. Over and above, normally we expect that if anything over and above that is there, then the customer has to bring in. Because every now and then we cannot revise the project, no? So somewhere we have to draw the line.
Yeah.
So we always allow you 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever you decide the particular project. You decide that this is my overrun and exigency, and thereafter you have to bear with us.
Yeah.
Then bank cannot go for again funding the overrun unless it is compelled and cornered.
I am very happy to understand that there are a lot of questions. In fact, this shows the interest being shown by Chartered Accountants friends. In fact, in this discussion, so this is all because of the jury, the panelist we have. In fact, Mr. Bansal and Mr. Singh,
and also you.
So, Mr. Krishna Kumar has asked, sir, if a rating grade allotted is rejected by the borrower, what are the alternatives left to borrower and bankers to go forward? Friends, see, as far as I understand, whenever any rating agencies gives any rating to the corporate, they gives it for their vetting by the borrowers, by the company, and if they want to add something, because the rationale is also given to the company on which rationale that rating has been assigned, and the chance is given to the company that if they want to add something or some additional information is there, they can submit it to the rating agency. The rating agency again put it up to their respective committee and finalize the rating. Maybe they may upgrade or they may keep the same rating agency. Sir, your calls?
Yes, sir. It's like that.
Mr. Rahul, factors to be considered while preparing project report. Dear Rahul, it is today I tried and I decided at the initial stage that I will cover this topic also, how to prepare a project report, but I suppose we deliberated so much in fact on other issues that there was no time for discussing with the how to prepare a project report. But I can briefly touch upon, if you permit,
You
sir.
can leave this with the in the system.
We can give the presentation also, some.
In the
But
web, I think you can take it and give it to in the
that some presentation can be uploaded later on the website. But yes, the major points will be introduction, understanding about the project, promoters, constitution. Promoters is the second important aspect which has to be covered in the project report. Then what is the technology, what are the markets, what are the infrastructure facilities like land, building, plant and machinery, effluent treatment, all those things. What is the manufacturing process flow chart, installed capacity, what are the raw materials and consumables, effluent, manpower, implementation plan, as our panelists have stressed upon on this issue, very important about the implementation plan. In fact, what are the legal aspect, licensing issues, financial structuring, economic viability, SWOT analysis, and ultimately the conclusion. These points, I suppose, have to be covered in, while preparing the project. Sir, anything else you want to add?
No, 2-3 areas. One thing is that when you prepare a project report, make sure that it is as real as to the field level situation, because one thing is the paper report, the other thing is what is actually going to happen.
That is the lifeline of the project.
Lifeline. So when you write a report, you are not going to please anybody. You are going to do this report for the purpose of what is going to happen, and try to take the numbers as realistic as possible. if you are projecting that he is going to do the sale of 200 crores, make sure that he doesn't miss on these numbers. If he says the COD is this date, make sure that give adequate provision, but your numbers, your judgment on the promoter should be very good. I think the highest importance to be given on the due diligence, which Gupta ji has already explained. And second thing is the quality of capital. I think if something I will give highest importance is the quality of capital and the source of the capital and how long this capital is going to stay in that project. And then the clearances from the various sources, various agencies, to see that the clearances are in place for the project to run. And whatever assumptions you are making while preparing the project report, please document that why are you making this inventory holding for this date to this date, and for the term loan also, what are the item of investments, how much is the cost, how much is the promoter equity, how much is going to be, and make sure that the vendor who is going to supply has the right price, because now when the account is going bad, the CBI is going to check this, whether the banks have or the promoter have done the adequate due diligence on the supplier.
So 3 C's are very important: CAD, CBI and CVC.
This is something, financial frauds, and these are putting the banks under a lot of pressure.
Isha Chongewala, if a company uses long-term funds for short-term purposes, as you mentioned, what is the risk that bank faces? Either way. Short-term funds should be used for short-term purposes, long-term funds should be used for long-term purposes. I suppose we, the chartered accountants, know what will be the consequences of diverting the funds from short-term to long-term or long-term to short-term. Amit Sharma has asked, importance of project finance as a career advancement.
Wish him all the best. He can be successful if he has got good knowledge.
CA Rajiv Kikkar has asked, if the name of promoter has been on the CIBIL list but has been cleared after a one-time settlement, OTS, will it affect the future proposals of project financing by bank and financing? Why not? See, if a person has taken any loan from a bank, and what is OTS basically? OTS means when he is saying that, okay, see, I owe 100 rupees to you, but I will pay only 10 rupees or 20 rupees or 90 rupees. Why any bankers will agree to that? Only because of कि मजबूरी भैया ठीक है जो देना है दे दो अभी तो क्या करेंगे?
In other words, it's the right of recompense that
right of yes sir.
We should not absolve that.
I suppose in OTS right of recompense is always there. Always there.
Whenever you have the capacity to pay.
Gupta ji, if it was a credit card default, and the CIBIL put his name because of the default in the credit card, and he goes for one-time settlement, probably he can satisfy the bank that why his name was put in the CIBIL and how he has settled it.
Answer is not case to case. Sometimes we see that it's a very negligible amount as compared to your.
But I have seen, sir.
Certainly, we ask them to go and settle their
yes,
with them.
I have seen, sir. Even for 200 rupees, CIBIL default, bankers are strict, in fact, to get it cleared.
Case to case. No, that's what they say.
Yeah.
If they want that it has to be settled.
No, but even if the loan is 25 crore, 200 rupees default, I suppose that is the biggest thing. See, it should not happen, in fact. So 200 rupees 200 default is very serious, in fact. But sometimes it becomes because of the fault of some CIBIL or some data submission by the bank.
Even then, if he had paid everything, still his name will not be taken away from the CIBIL. That also happens. But then we look at the things from case to case.
Mr. Ashish Kedia, most aspects being discussed are ethical aspects, responsibilities, which may not be done. When so much is expected of CA fraternity, see, this is expected because of their own interest, in fact. We are not, bankers are not saying कि भैया आप ये करो नहीं तो there is no written, there are no written guidelines. They are not asking any signature of chartered accountants. It's a moral responsibility in the interest of the bank, which we were discussing, I suppose. So instead, should banks not have independent CAs on panel rather than just relying on consultant CAs who bring the proposal, who can, no, don't ask this thing. They have to rely on the consultant. So how can we say that they should not rely on us? Yes, banks have their own due diligence system, and I suppose you got something, you have on your panel, the advocates are there, Then you have annual panel that valuers are there.
Okay, so it's not that whatever you submit, we take it
Yeah.
100% and we do not do our own due diligence. It's not that.
Yeah.
You do your duty, the rest will take our own
Yeah.
scrutiny of the proposal also.
Yeah.
We do not write since Mr. Gupta has said, then I accept it. Nowhere it is the proposal. So that way you do your duty honestly, then we are there to take a call on the individual proposal.
But I'll definitely tell that ultimately you will be held responsible morally. That will be much more than any written, yeah. So only because of this we were discussing all these ethics and responsibility. Mr. Ravi Kumar Chona, will a CA be held responsible for CMA data working signed by him or deviate from the actual result? See, normally I have not seen any chartered accountants being signing any CMA data because I don't know. I'm not expert on this issue whether chartered accountants can sign the projections being prepared by.
Even if you submit CMA data or sign it also, and subsequently projections, actuals are different. So these are all projections only, no?
Yeah.
When Bansalji very rightly said that whatever you prepare, you write the assumptions. On this assumption I've done, on this assumption I've done, and subsequent assumption may vary from the actuals. No?
Yeah.
So there is nothing to feel worried about. But
Yeah.
then it should not be haywire.
Yeah.
You say 10 rupees and it goes 1,000. It should not be haywire, but normally it should happen.
Divya, can the insurance premium cost also be included in the projected figures on assumption basis? See, it has to be some rational or some logic has to be there. What are the you can check up with the now this is internet based world. In fact, all the informations are available. So anybody can get the quote for the insurance of any plant and machinery building,
Her
and
question
you have
is
to.
whether the insurance cost can be financed by the bank.
Yeah,
as a
definitely.
pla-
I'll agree. Yes. Yes.
Then you move.
Sir, I suppose this question is Singh Saab. Can terms of takeover financing be finalized at the time of sanction by the first bank, principal bank, like consortium financing? This has been asked by Karthik.
Okay. So
Can terms of takeover financing be finalized at the time of sanction by the first bank, like consortium?
Takeover would be not by consortium. Takeover will be taken.
No, I suppose he is talking about the takeout financing. I suppose he is talking about the takeout. No, I suppose this question relates to takeout financing.
Otherwise, if you go by takeover,
Ah.
takeover is individual.
Oh, takeover is
It
something.
doesn't happen with a consortium. Other member should not agree. So individual banks take over. If he has anything else to say, he can come out on the email separately.
Yeah.
Let us
Mr. Jagdish Singh has asked, sir, bankers discouraged to sanction CGT SME financing. What should be the way out? Sir,
It's not that.
friends, bankers will not agree to this.
No, it's not agree, not agree. 100% we are for CGT message. Let me give you one very particular case. In case of CGT, sometimes when people are having their collateral security, they do come for waiver of CGT message. And the delegation lies with very senior authority in the banks to waive CGT message. The reasoning thereby that on the first hand we must go for CGT message is a better security than your collateral security. In that case, wherever CGT MSC cover is available, we would like to first time we would like to go for the cover instead of going for collateral security. And we will waive very judiciously because it takes a lot of effort on the part of bank to realize collateral security rather than putting the claim with the CGT message. This is the first class security if I have to have a CGT message.
Are you really getting the claim, sir, from CGT SME?
Yes, we
Huh?
are having.
There is some different opinion also.
No.
So we can discuss that thing on some other
They have
platform.
said
If I can
that
take,
lock-in period, if the unit has done.
Because you have to take all legal actions, in fact, before lodging the.
Here I say there are two conditions only. One is that on the site of CGT message, you should have classified the account as NPA,
Yeah.
number one, within the given period of time. It's 30 days or what it is. And secondly, you should have filed, exhausted your legal, initiated a legal proceeding in the matter.
So the answer is very clear. You have asked, sir, the bank discourage the sanction CDSME scheme. No, the banks encourage to sanction CDSME scheme. But I would like to add here some practical things, sir. At the top level, top management of the bank is interested to do lending under this CDSME scheme. And I suppose, as you rightly told, there are clear guidelines that if there is any loan of up to 100 lakhs, it has to be covered under CDSME necessarily. And if any deviation is there, it has to be forwarded to the controlling office for your approval, sir?
Yeah, let me make it further clear.
Sir.
If any account which is eligible for CGTMSE cover and is not covered by the branch manager or junior level official, subsequently if the account turns NPA, he is asked for his explanation why this account when cover was available, you didn't go for it.
And I would like to add one more thing. I suppose RBI, Ministry of Finance, they are all concerned about financing under this scheme and various awareness programs. Sir, it may happen, sir. I suppose the reason for writing this, he might have had some bad experience. In fact, it may happen at some branch level. There may be some hesitation by the branch manager in considering any proposal.
It could be aberration at any branch.
Yeah.
But then you have got your other levels in the hierarchy available with you. Right?
So you can discuss at the higher level, and I suppose it's a very encouraging scheme.
Yes.
Does sir, your call, sir. Mr. Vinay Singhal has asked, does the rating agencies have panel of chartered accountants to take regular services of chartered accountants?
I would not.
So there will definitely be some services where chartered accountants will be providing to rating agencies. So you have to check it up with different rating agencies yourself. Am I right? This is again that same question is there.
I think we can take last 2-3 questions.
We still have some time, or? Huh?
5 minutes.
CA Yashwant Kumar, sir, can you refer me any book which is really helpful for making project report of every type?
Maybe
Sorry, huh?
on the Google you can go
Yeah.
website, internet.
Google is the best friend. You go to the Google, and he will help you definitely. What is the CRO companies? What are the major consideration in case of CRO companies? Sorry, we are unable to understand this abbreviation.
Any other?
S.K. Vasne, the chartered accountants cannot certify the projections as we are not qualified to. At best, state that the projections are compiled based on certain assumptions which are to be appraised by the banks. In such situation, how far you think that the chartered accountants are responsible for? No, you are not responsible for NPA. See, chartered accountants can't be responsible for becoming any account as NPA. Our role is to verify that data submitted by the company to the bank is true, correct, and the projections are also based on the assumptions which are as far as near to the actuals, in fact, ultimately. So,
Some more?
no. Any other questions are there? Like.
You can summarize now, I think.
So, I request you to summarize. So, from my side, I will say that chartered accountants have very bright future, in fact, in this area, because bankers are also concerned to have good quality. So, if we, the chartered accountants, and we always do, I can assure you from the entire fraternity side, the chartered accountants are very ethical from the start of our the training. In fact, it is taught to us that we have to be ethical. So I can assure you from my side, on behalf of all the chartered accountants, we try to be the most ethical professional, and the role of chartered accountants is, I suppose we have discussed at length. We have listened to the bankers also, to the rating agencies also. So I'll say best of luck to my CA friends. We can make a great career in this area, sir.
No, I'll just thank you for inviting me on this panel today and to share whatever I could today through this web conference.
All right.
And
Question hai?
I consider chartered accountant fraternity as the doctor to the all people who are into the trade, industry, business, service, because the implication of these the balance sheet of the company, you will be able to guide them properly as to what should be the best ratios that can come out, because the balance sheet is as on particular date, and that particular date impresses the ultimate result of the balance sheet, which will carry the whole year impact on the assessment of the working capital, on the fixation of rate of interest, on assessment of his rating, and this balance sheet is very, very important. You can guide him, you can guide the management as to how to run, but try to tell them to do the genuine business. Let them not do in a hurried manner. It may get spoiled. Sometime the name of the CA also, because whoever is the auditor of the company is very, very important. And I'm sure this kind of web conference from the institute will be of
some very small things I'd like to touch upon, though I'm quite confident that you all chartered accountants are well aware of these things. But presentation before the banks and financial institutions is very important. We need to be very honest with the bankers. So what we should do, we should discuss with the client. There may be some negative thing, there may be some positive areas in any of the proposal, in fact. So in my opinion, we should discuss all, the SWOT analysis has to be done properly. Whenever we go to the bankers to discuss any loan proposal, in fact, we should tell them upfront which are the negative areas, in fact, in the proposal. Let bank then decide, in fact, whether they are comfortable accepting that proposal with that negative thing. Go to the bank well dressed. That is also very important. Be presentable and I'll say that go to bank unshaven, wearing a t-shirt, and notice how bank's officer treat you and how they respond to your queries and how seriously they take you. The next time you go to the same bank again with a lot better dressed, wearing a smartly pressed shirt, smart trouser, tie and polished shoe, and notice the manner in which the bank officer will deal with you.
I agree.
Punctuality is also very important whenever you want to meet any banker. In fact, it may happen that he may busy, a banker is always very busy in doing lot of activities. He has the targets for the saving account, for CASA, for loans, for other third party products also. So try to take an appointment with the bankers, be punctual, and friends, you consider all mishappening also, like traffic jam, etc., while planning for the schedule. In any case, if you are delayed by any reason, in fact, please call the banks in advance. Tell them, sir, I'll be late by 10-15 minutes, so that he will not be. I'll just remember, I've just read somewhere William Shakespeare rightly said that better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late. And one more thing I'd like to add, that whenever you try to go to the bank, in fact, you have to be well prepared, in fact. Suppose you have a project, in fact, in hands. So even to me, sir, I'll go to that extent that you should understand and should know that who are the promoters, what is his family background, what is the name of his wife, who are the children, what are they studying, or they also want to come into the business, in fact. So the entire information about the project and the promoters need to be readily available with the chartered accountants. Prepare a brief note like a crux information about the project and the promoters, and discuss with the bankers. Prepare well, because bankers may ask anything if you will not be able to reply anything, and bankers may think that you don't know the promoters and the project well. So well preparedness is very important, and you should go with all necessary writing instrument, pad, pen, laptop, presentation, product sample. You can take some product sample also with the bankers. And if you do 100 good things, nobody remembers, but if you do one thing wrong, nobody forgets. Let us build the confidence together. So this is all about we wanted to discuss today. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. First class.
Good sir. बहुत बढ़िया हो गया सर. सर आपका रोल सर so we are thankful to you.
अरे आप भी बहुत हमको आपके पास आना पड़ेगा एक बार.
ठीक है, कुछ मैं तो ऐसे ही चला रहा था
भाई फोटो खींच दो एक कोई.
मैं ऐसे ही चला रहा था.
बोलो. हाय सर
आप सब बैठते हैं.
मैं यहीं पे जीवन भारती बिल्डिंग
2468
क्राउड प्लेस.
अच्छा.
आप एड्रेस देखिए.
ऊपर या सबसे ऊपर कैमरा ना.
आई गिव यू माय कार्ड.
I'll visit someday.
श्योर
Sir.
सर. हां जी.
अरे यार
अरे सर ये तो क्या है, टोकन ऑफ लव सर. क्या आपने सर इतना मतलब ये कुछ भी नहीं है सर, आपने इतना टाइम दिया.
ये दोबारा बुलाने के लिए
We know, sir, you will come.
आज का दिन इनके नाम
Sir, but it was not a